Hey guys, Red Llama here. Check out some of my merchandise. So in this video, I'm going to be going over the differences between a PMD meter versus an ammeter and what are they measuring. There is a big difference in the wattage that I've been recording on my GPUs versus what others have been recording, such as Red Fox and Mad Electronic Engineering, and possibly others who recently got the meter. When I saw that there was a big difference in the values, it led me to question, is this the design of the meter that's in question, or is something more to it? So in this video, we're just going to go over the differences. All right, in this slide, what we're showing is the PMD meter that you can purchase from this website, and the purpose of this meter is to measure the input going into the GPU and the riser. So the way that this works is the power is drawn from the power supply into the meter, and it travels through the meter into the riser or the GPU. The meter, what it does is it measures the voltage and also the amps. And once it has those two values, you multiply them, and that's your wattage traveling through the system. So basically, this PMD is measuring the wattage going into the GPU and also the wattage going into the riser. So before I get into the ammeter and what the difference is, I think there is a key point that I want to highlight to everyone that we all have done probably. Basically, you connect the GPU to a riser, you power the riser, but you forget to connect cables to the GPU itself. When this happens, you see the fans moving, so there's power going into the GPU from the riser. So we all know this is true. And with these A2000s, that's what we're going to see as well, because basically those cards are all powered by the riser itself. Now that we know that the riser can power the GPU, does that work in reverse? Can a GPU power a riser? And the answer is yes. So what I did find was a schematic of a slot, and basically it has all the pins labeled, and it just shows the grounds, and it also shows which ones are providing power as well. So what this is showing is basically the GPU can power the riser to some extent. Now, let's go into the schematic of how an ammeter works. Like before, the power is drawn from the power supply and it flows through. However, the voltage or the power in the yellow wires are bypassed in the box. They just go through. The shunt is the only one that's connected to the ground wires. The power in is the same. It's unaffected by this. The key factor in this meter is it measures the closed system on the circuit. So what does that mean? Basically, when power is being drawn from the power supply and it flows through the GPU and the riser, the voltage in is the same as if you were measuring it with a PMD. What's different is power is being drawn from the power supply into the GPU, and once it's into the GPU, it travels through the pins on to the ground pins on the PCIe slot, and it travels through the riser as well back into the power supply, which leads to a higher reading. Basically, the reason I've been getting discrepancies from my videos is because this is measuring something else. It's measuring the total closed circuit wattage. And that's why we've been seeing higher values on the riser. It could be also the same for the other side as well, for the GPU pins as well. But I think this video gives you a little bit more background of what the difference is between the two. What does it mean? I don't know. I don't know what it really means, but basically, just make sure you understand what the readings are. I still went ahead, I purchased one of these PDMs, It's just because I want to do my own testing on it and see how it is. And it'd be kind of cool to have both of these in line, just to make sure we're getting accurate readings. And I think Anonymous Miner is also looking into purchasing and making some of these. So you should definitely go check out his page. He's got some great videos on his channel. All right, so again, just to recap, the difference between the two is PDM is measuring voltage going into the GPU and riser, and then the shunt design or the ammeter is measuring the total in the closed system. So the value is going to be different. Which one's better? I don't know. All right, so in the end, we just have to make sure we don't go over the 75 watts to the PCIe slot or the riser, and we don't go over the requirements on the PCIe cables themselves to the GPU. Alright guys, so that's pretty much all I have for this video. I hope it makes sense. I hope the schematics make sense and gives you guys a little bit more insight. I am not an electrical engineer. I don't know much about circuits, but I know that these meters are giving two different values. Even in hardware info, if I compare this, the PDM is measuring something similar to these values here, and then the shunt design is measuring something closer to the sum power values here. If you take a look at the sum of the input power, which is a 111, and compare that to the input power sum or source power sum, those both equal out to be the same, which I thought was pretty interesting. So, alright guys, please like and subscribe if you haven't. And I'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah, some of those stuff I don't really sell, but alright, see you guys.